about to load in here. Okay, so final picks and bans. Blue team has banned out Jax, Kayle, and Shyvana. All good solo queue bans. Kayle definitely a lot weaker since her nerfs, but she still is a huge problem in terms of just like canceling out burst, right? You have one target getting low. In solo queue, you ult that target, boom, enemy wastes 10 cooldowns, let's say, on trying to finish off that target. It's a very good solo queue pick, but not nearly as much of a competitive option now that she has been nerfed quite heavily. Shyvana is a big bully top lane. I'm assuming it's a target ban or just something they didn't want to deal with, so I'm fine with that as well. Braum, Rengar, Yasuo, fine bans. I'm not seeing anything completely out of the ordinary here. In terms of picks, it is a Lee Sin jungle, a Tristana Morgana bot lane, I'm assuming a Nidalee top, and a Lissandra. I was going to call her Cinder for some reason. Lissandra mid. It could be the other way around with Lissandra top, Nidalee mid, but Nidalee is much, much better right now as an AD bruiser top lane. That's going to be versus a Elise jungle, Draven Leona bot lane, Renekton top, and Swain mid. The bird lasers everywhere. Okay, so bot lane for purple team is very, very snowbally. Either Draven and Leona get super far ahead and dominate everything, or they fall behind and don't really do much at all. So it's going to be a lot of pressure on bot lane to pick up those early kills and to build up an advantage for themselves. If they don't, Morgana is going to be able to cancel out Leona engages relatively well. Tristana is going to scale like a monster, both in safety and consistent damage output, whereas Draven is the more risky pick. So again, early game versus late game. Both junglers are very strong early, although Lee Sin is a little bit more known for his counter jungles and invades. So we'll see if he puts any pressure onto Elise early or not. I'm just going to assume that it's Nidalee versus Renekton and Lissandra versus Swain, but it could be the other way around. Swain is a highly underrated jungle... words are not working today. Swain is a very underrated solo queue mid laner right now. He does a lot of damage, he baits people very well, and he duels really, really well. I mean, he is a scary target when he gets ahead. That being said, he's not nearly as flashy as other characters. It's not as though you get hit by one skill by Swain, you're like, GG, he's fed, I took 80% of my health. I mean, that can happen, but it's much, much less likely. So, he's probably going to be hobbling on his cane throughout the laning phase, trying to get those last hits, trying to secure them. If he is a good Swain player, though, he's going to be able to manage those last hits, not have any real mana problems, and then as a result is going to be able to use all of his mana on bullying whichever person they send mid versus him. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on. If he falls behind, though, that's not going to be that much of an issue, because he still has that strong mid-game to fall back on, assuming he gets some amount of farm, assuming he's able to be useful mid-game in terms of landing his skills. And this loading time's taking a little while. Okay, looks like we're about to load in. Oh, no, Leona still. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna fall asleep here. Do you guys have any questions while this loads? Because this could take a little while. Can you play next? This is probably the last game. We may do some viewer games after this, we'll see. Alright, so we have loaded in. We're going to start this up. Alright, so Flasks start on Nidalee, so I'm surprised. I would expect to see her starting Doran's Blade. Yeah, I would usually see a Doran's Blade start on Nidalee top. It gives her that extra bit of a sustain. It gives her the extra AD for both last hitting and auto attack harassing, which is what she focuses on. Looks like it will be the Lysandra mid, which is what I sort of initially predicted. Both teams sort of going into a standard defensive formation, just protecting their jungle. Leona actually starting with a ward. I prefer to see a little bit more potions on an all-in engaged support like this, because if you do get poked down, then you're going to not have any other plays. Leona engages, that's what she does. So, I would like to see more potions instead, personally, but to each their own. This is the standard build I use. Oh, she's not gone for starting Gold Mastery. Because I would go 3 biscuits and then 1 mana potion, usually if I'm doing a poke support like Karma, oftentimes even if I'm playing Morgana.
Minions have spawned.
How do you get vision? You place wards. Or in this case, you use abilities such as traps, which she has everywhere. I really like that, actually. Just dropping traps everywhere she possibly can, making sure the other team can't get any advantages or any invades. I mostly do solo queue throughout the week in my streams. I'm approaching Challenger right now. I'm about 80 LP in Diamond 1. So I'm going to be grinding out Challenger hopefully this Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We'll see how that goes. Workshops currently are only on Sundays, although we may expand to a second day during the week. So I want to keep an eye on how well Nidalee is harassing here. I really dislike this start with the Flask, just because you're giving up so much of your bullying potential, but we'll see how she plays it. Alright, so we mentioned a number of times how important it is hitting level 2 first. Draven doesn't seem to be pushing. You need to be pushing. You need to hit level 2, and then you need to immediately engage. Bind goes down onto Leona, not doing a whole lot of damage though. He's not getting his last hits either. I'm not sure if it's just not a comfort, not very comfortable with Draven, or what's going on here. They do hit level 2 first. Not quite able to connect with the Zenith Blade. A little off-center there. I'm assuming she thought that it was going to walk down a little bit. Morgana's laying some good bindings here. She has picked up her Black Shield for level 2. Great decision, especially versus Leona Draven. Alright, good job. They actually land the engage before the Black Shield lands. Morgana will want to work on her timing on that a little bit, because you do have to have split-second timing in order to make sure this goes properly. Alright, good escape. Ganking a Lysandra, who is level 3, is a little odd. It's possible that she would have waited to level 4 to take her E. Yeah, Glacial Path. But in the long term, I mean, you're not going to get a kill on her in 90% of cases. Great harass coming in here. The Ignite goes down because Lysandra tries to return. The Flash goes down, not actually able to land the final auto attack. A little bit sloppy from Swain. He could have moved between auto attacks, not had to flash, and been able to secure that kill. I'm going to take a quick peek at that fight bottom. Leona gets harassed down quite low, but Trist is also low. So, what we're going to see here, Morgana uses the binding, drops her pool, Zenith Blade connects, Morgana does not have her Black Shield up. Trying to fight when Black Shield is on cooldown does not make much sense. I also disagree with using the exhaust on a support. If you're going to use your exhaust, it needs to be onto the AD carry. Leona's not there for damage, she's there for lockdown and CC. Alright, so Lee Sin lands his Q, follows up through the flash, gets a slow on, Nidalee flashes, the Ignite's down, and not able to connect with the spear. I would have liked to see Nidalee securing that, but the Ignite does tick through. I'm surprised that that did finish off, though. I think that Renekton just needed to use a potion a little bit earlier. So, Swain is actually landing his last hits, which is a really good sign. It shows that he definitely does know at least the basics of what he's doing with his character, because he does have a lot of issues on Swain with auto attack animations. So pretty even. Oh, okay, so they're actually not going to go in. I'm surprised no one tried to kill Draven during that. Alright, good Black Shield coming in that time from Morgana. Alright, Zenith Blade's up. Ignites 30 seconds though, so I want to see them waiting on those summoner skills before they really try and force a kill. Morgana obviously being a little bit safer of a pick. She can throw out bindings anytime she damn well pleases. Alright, so Black Shield goes on to herself. As a result, well, didn't really boil down to anything. I would have expected them to be able to secure that. Leona was able to freely engage on Tristana because Morgana shielded herself. That being said, the jump started already from Tristana, so it didn't quite cancel it out. Using Draven's stand aside, you actually can cancel out the Trist jump, so that might be something he'll want to work on in the long term. They do use the summoner heal though, so it's still an advantage to Purple Team in that fight. Back mid lane, Lissandra's actually getting a lot of harass onto this Swain, so really good play coming in from her. That being said, Swain had not been back to buy yet. So what I want to see here is how this lane differs once the items are a little bit more equal. Great harass coming in from Italy. She hasn't bought anything yet, though. This is kind of weird to me. The insistence on staying in lane so long in this game is a little bit questionable. The Morgana ult goes down, flash comes out from both of them, but the stun connects. They get the very nice ward kick onto Draven and are able to secure it by Tristana. Really good job there. Ooh, fantastic binding. I'm shocked no one went in on that. Tristana could have just auto-attacked and got a double kill there. He had his jump up, so he could have auto-attacked, jumped, and then jumped back out if he really had to. I had the mana for it. He was in range to even just auto-attack. A little bit sloppy there, but great execution on the Lee Sin gank, as well as the Morgana ult. Alright, so Swain now turning that harass back on. Both of them have Ignite up. Actually both of their flash are coming up right at the same time. For both of them, I want to offer the bit of advice that if you and your opponent flash at similar times, pay attention to your own flash timer that much more, because you then know exactly when the enemy team's flash is coming up. You can call that out in order to set up jungle ganks. You can use it to set up your own plays. You really don't want to be in a position where you're trying to say like, oh, I only need to land this combo, when you know that they have flash up, right? Yeah, so Swain at this point has a lot of sustain coming in from his ult and is able to constantly bully them down. If he ever lands another Never move, he should be able to get a kill onto Lissandra. That being said, Elise did take his blue. Well, the blue. It's not necessarily his. So he's going to have to watch his mana just a tiny bit. I mean, he does have Chalice, he does have Doran's Ring. So it's mostly going to boil down to just generic mana management at that point. Alright, at least trying to come in for the gank, but it gets warded out. I don't know. They weren't engaging, so using that ult means that you're then one less escapability in these fights. You don't have your jump up, you don't have your ult up. Leona's going to be able to engage. Not sure who the stun went on to. She never used it. She had her Q up and didn't cast it. That would have been a free kill. They may still get it though, because Tristana is just sort of standing there fighting. In the meantime, they land the double ults, both supports just sort of ulting each other. Draven is very scared of this fight. He could have just ulted across. There it is. But not quite angled correctly. He should have been able to secure that just by dancing around the outer side of the fight, waiting for the Leona ult, dropping his across it, and it would have been a free kill for himself. So a little bit of misexecution there. So Renekton has gone for full armor. I'm assuming he's going for Sunfire Cape. Although it could be pretty much anything. That's just my assumption. Nidalee still has not gone back to buy. And that could come back to bite her, because she's not going to have any damage, not going to have any sustain. She is out of mana at this point, versus someone who has quite a bit of armor. She's not in kill range, so it's not as though she has to be super scared. But I really want to see... She just needs to purchase something, anything. In the meantime, purple team's sort of cycling around Dragon. Blue team is reacting, though, and trying to defend. It looks like they're going to be able to kick Lissandra out of lane. If Lissandra is forced back, they can turn that into a free dragon. They may just go for it regardless, and it looks like they are, but it is warded. So, Lissandra going back. Swain needs to cycle down to cut off any potential steal or counter to this play. Oh, actually, never mind. They're just going to pink it. It all works out in the end. So at this point, bot lane is completely even. They're identical CS, identical scores, and pretty much identical build. Obviously, Draven does have Doran's Blades, so late game he's not technically going to be able to complete as many items as quickly, but it really won't matter. I mean, if he procs his passive, he's going to be able to cash in all his adoration stacks and get a huge chunk of gold as a result. Nidalee has gone back to buy. It looks like she's going towards magic damage. She could still build into a Trinity Force, but if that's the case, Source Boots, well, fine. A lot of your damage is physical here, so I don't know. We'll see how she plays this. I'm not 100% sure on what item she should go for. I would like to see a Merc Treads, honestly, have a bunch of different CC coming in. Okay, so Leona tries to dive in. They bait out the Black Shield, so that is down. Lee Sin comes in for the counter gank, lands onto Elise. Elise flashes away, but immediately gets caught by Lee. She's still in this fight, should be taken down by Tristana. There we go. Actually, Morgana gets it with the binding. Let's see how they cycle in onto this. Tristana goes back in with the jump. Lee Q lands slow from the red, and actually he takes the kill away. I would like to see some of those kills going on to Tristana. They were relatively secured, but at the end of the day, they're kills. They're secured, so good job. Morgana landing some good bindings here. Back Lee mid. Swain getting taken super low. Just need one final hit, but they're diving into tower. At the end of the day, they bait them through, and that's a 1 versus 2 kill over to Swain. So really, really good execution on his part, but sloppy play from blue team. I'm going to rewind that because I want to point out something that happened. Alright, so Lissandra goes in. She has her ult. Ult goes down. Q lands. But Lee Sin kicks while he is stunned. You can't displace them at that point. So instead of kicking them back out into lane, you've only used it for damage. So at that point, you're forced to flash away, so you've lost your flash, and Lissandra stops to auto-attack. So double misplay there, and that could have easily been avoided. Alright, so Leona coming in. Elise lands in with a Spider Form. Not going to be able to land a stun, though, and Leona's a little slow. I would have expected to see Elise waiting just that slight bit longer so that Leona could get in position. Just a little bit sloppy in terms of teamwork. Oh, he didn't kick. Okay. I apologize. It looked like he used it. I certainly heard the sound, so maybe I'm just crazy. Alright, so Swain lands a very nice snare in. Wears off super fast though, so now he's in a 1v3. His Hourglass is not finished, so he's not going to be able to do too much here. Ignite goes down, cancelling out his healing potential, and Morgana ult is going to finish it off. Oh, actually no, the final Q comes out from Lissandra. They have 3 people mid. Elise is going in behind, but they should be sieging this tower. They want to take an objective. Taking that kill is fantastic. You got a kill. That's wonderful. But now you need to push something using it. And looks like... yeah, they're just going to sort of go their own ways. Both teams just sort of split off from each other rather than trying to secure anything. They easily could have. In the meantime, Draven cashes in his Adoration stacks there. That could be posing a problem, because let's see how much gold he has, but he's going to be able to finish up his Infinity Edge much faster as a result. He's at about 1,000 gold right now. I believe he needs about 1,600, or no, 1,400, I think. Alright, so now they are sieging this out, but Morgana's not here. So if someone lands an engage, in this case Morgana, she has her Ignite up still, or if Swain gets in behind them, they're not going to be able to deal with it nearly as effectively. So again, you need to be paying attention to where your team is and playing accordingly. At this point, they're A-ramming. They're not able to quickly secure this tower, so they may as well... They're losing all this farm bot, right? Why not have Tristana go back bot lane? She can go there alone. She doesn't need protection at this point in order to just farm. She could be picking up all that CS while the rest of them hold tower. Farm jungle so that it's respawning. Just generically building up a gold advantage for their team. So no new items yet on Nidalee. I am assuming she's going to go for the Trinity Force, though. So they should be sieging this tower with Morgana. Morgana does not need to hide in there. They know you're there. They saw you use a binding. Stay with your ally. You could have black shielded that and immediately returned with a binding. Your binding was up, right? So staying with your ally would have been able to cancel out that fight and immediately get you a kill. They do burn the Renekton ult, but in the meantime, Draven just got a kill mid. I'm going to rewatch that. Oh, yeah. Okay, never mind. Just boils down to they landed CC Draven burst. Boom. Alright, so they have Leona to peel, they have Draven for DPS. No one's here to respond, so take away the tower. Good decision. Thank you very much for pushing this in. That's just it. This is how you build up a meaningful advantage. It's not the kill that matters. They needed to either take the tower or take Dragon. I think Draven could have finished that tower, but it would have been a little bit risky. But either way, they got the damage on. Blue team is now responding by taking away Dragon themselves. Good decision. Clear out the pinks, and Tristana should be able to DPS that super fast. Swain has a ward. Not sold that he's going to be able to do anything, though. Elise is on the way. Draven and Leona, though, not going to be able to respond in time. The constant resetting, though, could buy them enough time. Elise is here now. Elise can go in with a smite. They could fight for this. Alright, so that goes over to Tristana. Yeah. Leona comes, but Draven does not. In the meantime, though, they still get it, only because blue team tanked Dragon for so long. They kept kiting it back and forth, letting it reset, and as a result, Swain just got a triple kill. Fantastic job on their part. Great decision to go in. I wish Draven would have been with them, though. Like, for example, he should be mid right now taking this. I suppose farming is fine, but they could have sieged the second inner turret there. Or taken... no, red's gone, yeah. Leona going back down to protect Draven. They may be able to get this tower. It's very low. Tristana is the only one defending. So if Tristana stays, they just engage and boom, kill. Lissandra cycling around with Lee. So Swain at this point is quite beastly. He's 112 CS. Not as good as it could be. There's a lot of room for improvement in CS here, but not the end of the world. He is 5, 2, and 2. He's finished up his Rod of Ages, which is stacking away nicely, and he's going to have his Hourglass soon. Once he gets his Hourglass, that's going to be his main power spike. He's going to want to play towards that by forcing team fights every single chance they can get, possibly even giving over some Adoration stacks to Draven there, just letting him cash those in. Leona is in range for her ult. I'm surprised she didn't go for it with Draven being right there. The Leona ult into Draven ult would have been enough to kill her, I believe. It's possible she wants to save it for the upcoming team fight, though. Lisa's rushing some of these cocoons. I would prefer to see her using it as peel. Do not agree with Nidalee trying to jump in that and like initiate a fight. That's not really what you want to see done. A lot of focus onto Leona as well. There are better targets to focus here. Alright, so Renekton, pretty even with Nidalee here. I want to see him pressuring top a little bit more. Nidalee's been roaming mid, and during that time, he didn't really get any damage on the tower. And Renekton is a pusher. I mean, he can push super fast. I also don't agree with his build. Why does he have Brutalizer? It doesn't do anything for him. You need to rush Tiamat. It allows you to cancel out your stun animation so that you can immediately start attacking them again. I'm only going to be doing another workshop if the Riot Shoutcasters come on. I have a couple who are lined up to do this, but they don't seem to be on, so it could be because there's a tournament. Alright, Swain going crazy ham. His Hourglass is not finished, so a little bit sloppy. Yeah, his team wasn't in position to immediately follow up. He did great damage, but the team needs to be in position right as you go in. The binding lands onto Draven, immediately gets taken down. That's just not a well-executed team fight by Purple Team. Renekton has disconnected. I'm going to assume that's going to be a tower over to Nidalee. That's a good, nice little bit of global gold for them, especially after that team fight. They should be sieging mid-tower at the same time, making Purple Team decide, okay, can we save either? Can we save both? And try and make them misrotate between the two. Alright, and that's 2 towers over to them, as well as 2 kills. Fantastic job there, but a lot of that just boils down to way too aggressive, not really communicating that with your team. You need to let your team know what you're doing, and that play would have been perfectly fine if your Hourglass had been complete. If the Hourglass was up, you would have been able to bait that, and your team would have had time to respond. If not, you need to give them more warning. I haven't noticed if he's been doing it, so I apologize if you already are, but Tristana needs to be using her E every single time onto Swain. Reduce that healing, and make him not be able to drain tank your team as effectively. Alright, Dragon's up in 1 minute. They're sort of clearing that out a bit. I like the wards going down. A lot of coverage into the enemy jungle so you can see where they're moving, where they're rotating to. But on the split side, I like some of these pink wards going down on top side. So some decent map control so far. 30 seconds on Dragon. I'm interested to see if either team has warded or timed these properly. Looks like both teams are aware of it. Purple team seems to be responding a little bit more uniformly. Lissandra's off mid, Trista's base, Lee's just sort of dancing around. They should be able to take this right as it spawns, but they don't. I don't know. It's 15 seconds. They're still sort of just dancing around trying to make picks for themselves. With Nidalee rotating down, this could be a fight they want. It is 5v4. Healing reduction is on Swain. They get the spear on, but no engage coming out. The problem with blue team here is that they're very reliant on landing either a Morgana binding or with Lissandra going completely ham deep into the middle of the team in order to really set up a fight. That or, of course, a Lee Sin kick. But that's a difficult move to pull off versus a full team. So their ability to force a team fight is not necessarily what they want. Having something, for example, like an Amumu or a Fiddlesticks as a jungle would allow them to just jump over, immediately initiate with a giant AoE, and lock them down. Oh my goodness, fantastic binding coming out from Swain. Lands it across 4 people. A little bit of mispositioning from blue team getting caught in that, but at the end of the day, beautiful execution from purple team, just how they comboed in on that. There's always room for improvement, but I just really like them for following up that play. Far too often in solo queue, I see people just like, oh, they landed an engage, and then they do nothing with it. So that is a 4 for 1. I want to see them sieging this mid tower, and then immediately rotating over to Dragon. Oh, looks like they're going to abandon the tower and instead go for Dragon. With Tristana respawning in 5 seconds, it's not the worst decision ever, but I still think they could have forced that tower very quickly. Swain lands another great binding, and that's a kill over onto Nidalee. Great plicks coming out from this Swain. Alright, so at this point, there is about a 4-ish thousand gold advantage to purple team. Not the end of the world, but they do have very good AoE team fight between Leona, Swain, Draven, and then of course Renekton can just sort of be a beefy man lizard. Alright, turret goes over to Renekton finally. Good use of sweepers, just sort of making sure you don't get caught out too much. Purple team looks to be setting up for a Baron here, and they can easily do that with the Leona having so much tankiness. They could quite easily just set up that play using Spiderlings to tank, using Leona to tank, and using the DPS that you have from someone like a Draven Swain. Alright, Leona's a little bit caught out though. Quite split on this team. They do get the Morgana ult, though. Having Morgana ult burned on Leona is a questionable play. I would not have done that. I would have maybe just used Binding, tried to make her waste her flash, like, keep pressure on her for sure. But you need that ult if you're going to be able to do a full team fight. The real power spike, though, that I'm waiting to see is what happens when blue team finishes up their hourglasses. For example, there is one finish now. Another great binding. I'm not sure why people keep getting caught by these bindings, but great job. Leona ult goes down, they immediately pick out Trist. As soon as Trist is dead, this team fight is essentially over. They get the Ignite on, not able to land the stun, but Draven in a very good position to just sort of catch them out as they rotate back through jungle. These Swain bindings, while well placed, should not be connecting. That's a misplay by blue team. They're not dodging them effectively. They are able to take down Swain, so very good job on that. But again, these bindings should not be connecting. You need to watch what's going on the ground, and you cannot afford to get hit by those. A similar idea to like a blitz hook. Yes, you can land fantastic blitz hooks, but it's still kind of their own fault for getting hit by them, because they are relatively easy to avoid in the majority of cases, not every case. Unfortunately, not quite able to jump over that wall by Nidalee there. Elise picks up the kill very nicely and is able to take away the blue buff as a result. And this is one of those very small examples of building up an advantage for themselves. They got a fantastic team fight, they chased down some targets, they got some kills. But take away the blue at the same time, right? I mean, why not? You're building up an advantage for yourself. I want to see purple team forcing this Baron soon. There's no reason for them to not do it. Elise may as well push out this, but in the meantime, I want to see Leona clearing this. I want to see her building up wards around it, and I want to see everyone cycling over to this Baron and take it away. Someone in chat mentioning chasing instead of taking tower. I agree with that. They could have taken the tower, but the fact that they were able to secure kills, they were able to secure something else with it. I'm okay with that decision. My concern though is that they're essentially just going back mid saying, okay, let's do that again. Okay, but that boils down to them making the same mistake again. Why not instead say, okay, let's force Baron. Let's get that cleared out. Let's make them run into our team. Rather than saying, okay, we're going to try and make a pick, we're going to try and make a pick. But are you going to do anything with that? If they don't check Baron, you get a free Baron. If they do check Baron, you get a free team fight and Baron. Right? It's a win-win. Swain flashing directly into their tower. Tristana actually kind of knocks him away, saving them. Dravenalt not quite able to connect onto the Lissandra. Sloppy execution, but same result. They may as well take away this tower here. Alright, so they need to, again, Baron would be my preferred choice, but they can just as easily take the mid inhib tower. Alright, so it looks like Renekton's teleporting back top. They should be able to turn that into... Not sure why Nidalee kept walking back and forth there. She should have been 100% safe. Renekton's not going to catch that. Nidalee has move speed bonuses when going through brushes, and has the extra ability to dodge. Stand aside, not quite able to connect. Swain lands the binding though, so that's free. Take the Baron. Take the Baron. You're already at it. You have 3 people. You just killed Nidalee. Just kill it. Just... Oh my god. Ugh, that was a free Baron. Okay. Because if you look at the map, Lissandra's bot. Morgana is sort of wandering around the jungle. Trist and Lee are in base. Nidalee's dead. You have 3 people on Baron, 2 of them who can tank. You have the rest of the team alive and able to cycle through. Take the Baron, please. Yeah, unfortunately now they have it warded. Because they didn't do it immediately. Looks like they are finally going to go for it though. Well, maybe not even take it, but they have the ward down. Is that pink ward not detecting this? Oh, it's just slightly hidden. That's shocking. In the meantime, though, they are finally going to start this. Which, oh, I'm so happy. Tristana all the way bot. In the meantime, though, they are missing 2. So whichever team collapses fastest is going to be able to set up a fight here. Lissandra just sort of poking away, trying to get some vision. Gets engaged onto. Swain is here for the counter engage. That is going to be a... Ooh, Lee is able to jump away. Tristana's just going to jump over the wall. I want to see her constantly hitting them over this. In the meantime, though, Swain just binds them. Boom, dead. Morgana goes down immediately after. Draven needs to back, though. He's way too low. Gets taken down by Lissandra. Lissandra goes on to Swain, ults him, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because he has dots. Final bind connects. I want to see them take an inhib off that. The only people up are Lee Sin and Nidalee. They already have Baron, so please, just cycle through. You can tank that tower. It doesn't even matter. Another great binding. Again, though, these should not be hitting. There's minions for him to jump to. I just want to strongly encourage these players to really watch what's happening on the map and work on your reflexes. So Lee Sin was standing right next to minions and got hit by a binding. Okay, but you have your W up. You used it 1 second later. Why not just jump to a minion, right? Okay, so they're not actually going to get the inhib, but they do get the tower. I'm fine with that. Draven has respawned, and they're going to cycle over to Dragon. Good decision. They still have plenty of health. They have the Baron buff, and they have either ults up now, such as Leona, or it's up very soon, such as Draven. So this is going to be completely free for them, and no one's even really responding quickly enough. Alright, so Trist is spotted out by that ward. I want to compliment some of these. They've been maintaining proper ward coverage quite nicely. Alright, Morgana does land the binding. I don't think this is going to turn into anything, though. Leona is there to peel. Oh, that was interesting lag. Summoner skills for Nasus. Usually it would be like Ghost Teleport, Flash Teleport, or Flash Ignite, or Flash... sorry, or Ignite Ghost. You can run pretty much anything on him, basically. Ghost is useful for chasing things down, but oftentimes you'll be forced towards a Flash to avoid certain skill shots. Teleport's super useful because, well, you want to be able to just permanently farm your Q. So it's a great option, but, I mean, there's so many different things you could use on him. In the meantime, all of these teamfights are going to go in Purple Team's favor at this point. They are 11,000 gold up right now. Any of these are going to go in their favor. What I want to see done right now is one person top, such as Renekton, which he can push just fine, and then 4 people mid. They cannot fight Purple Team. 4 people standing mid, they're going to win that fight, right? Lee's going to be taken down here. So Lee's dead. Just take the inhib, apply that pressure. In the meantime, Renekton's going to be pushing top. He's going to take away that tower, and then he's going to be able to take inhib. They're going to be able to rotate from taking the mid inhib over to the top inhib. That would be my preference. Instead, like, Elise is going bot, Leona's here, Draven went back to base. I don't know. It seems like a really obvious play to me. Right, so it looks like Elise and Leona are going to push in bot. That's going to get them a tower, so I'm fine with that. Alright, so it looks like they're going for a little bit different strategy, sending 3 people mid. I want to see the Leona staying with Swain, though, because they're the real threats here. Those two are combining their ults very effectively, combining their CC very effectively, to just never let blue team escape a fight. At least a little bit deep, but it doesn't matter, because, well, here's Swain. Swain picks up the kill. Don't chase this. Don't chase that. Just take the inhib, please. I just take the inhib. You're standing right next to it. Hit it. Thank you. Okay, perfect. So now that they have the inhib, there's a 30-second respawn timer on both Tristana and Morgana. They can take this second inhib and then abuse the minions here to try and end the game. They have 25 seconds to do so, essentially. And they have plenty of push potential. You have your minions in place. You need to focus the same tower, though. They're just sort of dancing around. In the meantime, Tristana is going to respawn right now. Morgana is in 5 seconds. So they're forced back again. This is just poor communication, poor decision making. They could have easily ended the game there, and unfortunately they did not go for it. That's one of the biggest complaints with solo queue, is that people roam for kills rather than just ending games. Alright, good engage. I'm having a lot of issues, though, with just how blue team is positioning, how they're avoiding these skill shots. Spoiler alert, they're not. So, really please just work on your map awareness, your positioning, and your essentially reaction time to dodge out these skill shots. Obviously, that's something that is going to take time. I'm not saying like, oh, GG, you can't dodge a skill shot. No, definitely not. But at the same time, there's no reason to get caught by the same play every single time. So, just definitely work on those. Make sure that you are not misclicking. Make sure that you're not mispositioning. In the meantime, Baron's up in 40 seconds. I'm interested to see if they're going to go for that or just end the game. Honestly, both inhibs are down. Please, just take the Baron, right? There's nothing to stop you from doing that. They can't team fight you. They can't leave their base, essentially, because there's 2 inhibs down. And you don't really take any damage doing Baron, right? So take the Baron, then siege top, or catch someone out and then just end the game. Those are your 2 options. If they try and stop you at Baron, you win because you just killed some of them and you can end the game. If they don't stop you at Baron, well then you can go top lane, and again they can't fight you, and you can end the game. Swain gets in behind them, not quite able to land the binding this time, but it doesn't matter. Leona ult goes across, and that is, or it should be, game. They've just got a 3 for 0. Please cycle through mid lane. Do not chase. And just kill the base. Yeah, they can quite easily tank this up. Oh, there's Draven. Okay. Draven, you need to be hitting the towers, please. Also, you should be hitting the same towers. They kill them faster, meaning less minions are going to die. Alright, so that should be game now. Congrats on winning there, Purple Team. Great job. I had a number of different comments for both teams, just in terms of playstyle, strategies, and I will try and go over final builds and stuff at the end of the game here once we get into the post-game chat. Ta-da! Okay, so that is the end of that game there. I want to congratulate Butterscotch the Hard Candy for winning the giveaway. We're going to send that prize over to you in just a few minutes. First, though, we are going to go over final item builds. Morgana, pretty much standard what I would expect to see. You have the Locket of the Iron Solari to cancel out some of the magic damage coming in from Swain, Elise, and Leona, as well as the extra shielding to avoid their AoE comp. So I really like that decision to pick that up. The Hourglass, obviously really, really important. I would have liked to see the Frost Queen's Claim finished up, though. I'm not sure if she just wasn't using it effectively enough to earn the gold she needed. I mean, I understand there wasn't as many kills as there could have been in order to really get the gold she needed to have a full build, but that extra slow could have been very, very useful for kiting and disengaging or following up in fights. Tristana's build, I don't like Static Shiv. I would like to see Phantom Dancer. Phantom Dancer is statistically better than Static Shiv. Shiv is fine on people who want to do a little bit of burst and have a little bit of extra wave clear, but Tristana is such a strong auto attack champion that I would have preferred to see a Phantom Dancer and then into a late game Blade of the Ruin King, because at the late game you have that huge range. You have that huge attack speed. So why not do percentage health on hit, right? And have that lifesteal for late game so you can actually trade with people. Last hits across the board could be a little better, but I'm not going to harp on that too much. I've mentioned many different times that you guys should definitely be practicing last hitting in like a custom game, that sort of thing. Even myself sometimes, I'll load one up and do like 5 minutes of last hit practice if I haven't played a champion in a while. So I definitely do recommend doing that. Lee Sin essentially went Hydra into tank. That's sort of what you expect to see. I also, yeah, definitely magic resist was important with the team that they were versus. I might have liked to see a Banshee's Veil so that he could pull off some more ward kick sort of plays. But at the end of the day, they really needed a reliable way to initiate team fights, and they didn't have that. They needed to either land a Morgana Binding, they needed to land a Lee Sin kick, or they needed to land like a Lissandra jumping into the middle of the team and killing someone. And that just wasn't happening this game. I'm not a fan of the Nidalee build. I would have liked to see her start with the Doran's Blade so that she could dominate lane, constantly auto-attack harass. It gives you a little bit of lifesteal, it gives you that early AD, and then you can transition. You can go like double Doran's into AP Nidalee if you really want to go like Burst Assassin AP Nid, or you can go into the like Trinity Force Bruiser Nidalee. This build though is a little weird. You're going AP, like you're going Hourglass, but you have a Trinity Force. It's just back and forth. It didn't really mesh very well with each other. Lissandra, I'm fine with her build, but I would have liked to see an Hourglass a little bit sooner in it. She also really low farm for the ease of wave clear that Lissandra has. So that's something that you should probably practice a bit more. Leona, I like the Locket again. A lot of AoE magic damage coming in. I would have preferred a Talisman of Ascension for chase potential, but overall the build is fine. It's not an issue. Draven, pretty standard. I mean, that's the auto attack AD carry build. No huge complaints there. Elise, tanky magic pen. That's what you expect to see. I didn't notice the build order that much, but overall, these are kind of the items you would kind of expect to see, right? I had a huge complaint from Renekton. He like built a brutalizer and then sold it, so that's wasted gold. you need a Tiamat. If you're going early aggression, you need a Tiamat to cancel out your stun. You can build it into Hydra for sustain, you can build it for like damage trades, and then after that you can go tank, right? But you need that early animation cancel from the Tiamat. That's how Renekton bullies people. So you really want to work that into your build, and I think you could have done much, much better that game just by adjusting that one little thing. Because there was a wasted gold on the Brutalizer, but then there was also the lack of early damage potential. Swain, you did very well. I have nothing but compliments for your overall effectiveness on the game, but some of your combos were sloppy, some of them were cocky, and they were very highly reliant on the enemy team making the same mistake over and over again. And again, that's not me insulting either you or the enemy team. I'm just saying that those plays versus a team that reacted to them properly would have got you killed, right? So it's possible you just played that way because of how the game was going. It's possible you built this way because of how the game was going. But you didn't need to build this much tank. You could have gone for... You could have finished up the Landry's Torment if you wanted the extra percentage health damage. You could have gone for a Death Cap if you wanted Burst because you already had the tank items here. You could have gone for an Abyssal Scepter even to reduce enemy magic resist while building up some of your own, because you are versus a decent amount of it. I just think that build could have been better, the play could have been better, but I mean, you had an undeniable, very strong effect on the outcome of the game. So I can't really say anything negative against it.